Yeah, my name is Zororai. I have a middle name, which is Gwen. Originally, I'm from Zimbabwe. Well, I always say African. Yeah, South African roots and Malawian roots, born and raised in Zimbabwe. So I'm very African, yes. I live in Middlesbrough, well, in Normanby, which is under Redcar in Cleveland. I run a travel agency called Alpha Pack Travel, and it's been operating as a business since 2016, registered. It's interesting. Growing up, I've been fascinated about traveling. That's what I've always wanted to do when I was young. Um, and this was in Africa, in Rhodesia. At the time, it was called Rhodesia, which is now Zimbabwe. Right. So the idea of traveling has always been something I was passionate about. So originally, I actually wanted to be a pilot. But because at that time, back in the 80s, which one would think it's not far back as ancient, they were not training women as pilots, yes. So that's how I ended up doing the travel and marketing within the airline industry. So working in the travel industry, I've basically worked in there for over 30 years. Exactly, yeah, it's a long time. So starting a business became the next thing for me when I couldn't get a job. When I joined the airline industry, I sort of evolved within that industry. From working within the industry as an airline, that is, I joined the travel industry. So the travel agency, I've basically evolved in it, if you like. My dream of being a pilot, it kind of just died. It's very unfortunate, but it did die. You know, you kind of like when I moved here from Africa, the travel industry was thriving and I could work anywhere within the course I'd done gives me that opportunity to work anywhere. So when I was working within the travel industry in London, that's where I was, it was so easy getting jobs and they were high paying jobs. But then, you know, the industry has been slowly dying a slow death. And then when I moved to the Northeast, it was even worse. There's more bigger jobs in London than here. So I ended up doing other jobs besides the travel, you know. Yes, the desire was to travel, but in the end, I think, you know, when you get married, life just takes over. And you now just go with the flow kind of thing. So in terms of working within the travel industry as a full-time job, it's something that I ended up just doing and enjoying. And in starting a business, it then became an opportunity because I knew the job very well. I didn't see why I couldn't start my own travel agency, which is what I've done. You know, if no one can employ you, create your own job. And that's what I did. Yeah. You know what? Challenge is actually good. The reason I started the travel agency was because I couldn't get a job. And see, if I got a job, I would never have started my own travel business. So that would have been a missed opportunity, although it has always been my desire. So your question was, what made me start my,
What are the challenges?
what are the challenges? Sorry. So the challenges were initially finances, okay, mentorship, getting someone who mentors you, um, and getting that opportunity to do what you want to do, you know, exploring your ideas, but having the support. Those were the challenges. But when I started reaching out within the Redcar and Cleveland Council, they've got what they call a business link, which helps people to train within it. So that's what helped me. There were challenges, but I kept on pushing and starting the business. I had to start it with my own finances. So when I was made redundant from my other job, it wasn't much money, but I was able to buy myself a laptop, set myself up, and start working. That's yeah. There were challenges, but you know what? I think the challenge was like you're not getting as much money as you used to get when you were employed. You know, making all that money. But it was now the you know the that passion inside of me to say I can do this and I'm going to make it happen, and it is happening. This one is really classical. Um, it's I would say just registering the company and getting the company accepted as a business to me was a success. But there's so many stories to tell within even all that, because getting on board to just go and establish my business, to go on the Business Link course, which was funded by the government. For me to go on that course, I had to go through a series with the job center. The lady at the job center who interviewed me told me straight up that she didn't think I could qualify to get on this. And I was extremely baffled when she said that, because I felt I had the experience and the skill. Yeah. Then I said to her, listen, and that's the thing in life. If you know what you want to do, you're always going to get people who are going to try and stop you or tell you that you can't do it. The fact that she said I couldn't do it, that even made it more important for me to actually do it. Not only to show her, but to show myself that I can do this. And I'm glad I pushed through, because when she refused, I said to her, all you have to do is to allow me to attend the interview and let the interviewer, who's going to interview me, tell me that I do not qualify to go on the course. And I had to produce a business plan. I had a business plan. When I went for the training, for the interview, the person who was taking people on board for the training interviewed me and straight away said, wow, you know your stuff, come for the course. And from then on, doors started opening. I never looked back. I never went back to the job center to say to that woman, hey, all I know is I didn't have to go back to the job center. I created a job for myself. So yeah, it's one of those things in life. You have to keep pushing. You have to keep pushing, yeah. Keep working at it. Keep working at it, yeah. One of the things I'm going to say is, how shall I say it? Might be controversial because it's always about color, your skin color. That's the barrier, okay? But what I've also seen is it's not just the skin color, there's ignorance, okay? So I no longer use skin color because what I've actually seen is when you go past color, you actually now see that with most people, it's ignorance, it's fear of the unknown, it's so many things that surrounds us and that stops us from doing things. A very typical example is Elvis. And I've seen Elvis journey, start his business, with video and, running his own thing, start. And when he was talking about starting it, it was almost sounding impossible. But guess what? Look at him now. And it's things like that where I've now seen, and he's constantly sharing in terms of how he has to keep pushing. He has to tell himself, he has to look in the mirror. So what I would say is stop even thinking that you're black. Stop even thinking that I'm a woman. Just go ahead and do what you want to do. Keep pushing, keep going to the bank, or if one bank rejects you, go to the other. What I've actually seen is in life, the person who stops you is not the organization. It's a human being who at that point in time you meet. Because half the time when you actually now go to, because I remember one of the questions for me to go on this course to start my own business is I went to the job center, I asked for a meeting with their manager. And I said, excuse me, do you have a system of one size fits all? He sat back and says, what do you mean? I said, because you're all trying to pigeonhole me into all this to try and do these jobs you keep telling me. But I'm telling you, I've got these qualifications, I can do this, but you're not allowing me. He goes, who says we're not allowing you? I said, that's what I'm being told by the ladies who I come in, when you are going to sign. And then he said to me, no. So when I now went in to try and go on the course, again, I met the same woman who's trying to tell me, no, you can't do the course. But I now had to tell her. So what I got from the manager and what I was getting from the lady who serves are two different stories. Then I realized that this is somebody who automatically, when I came in front of her, she judged me by the color of my skin. She never looked at my quality. In fact, she herself, I don't think she even has O levels. You see what I'm saying? So straight away, she can even talk you down. But it doesn't mean the whole organization is behind her. So my advice is to young people, don't let anyone stop your dreams. whatever it is, it's never too big. In fact, dream even bigger. You can do anything you want. Go ahead and do it.